Hour, sponsored by Janty, pioneers in e-cigs.
Hola, ¿qué tal? How are you all, please? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we're a long way away from the camera tonight.
We are, yes. Move
Yes.
it in a bit.
Should I?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Well.
That close enough?
I think so, don't you? Yes.
We'll go all the way, shall we?
Oh, yes.
Do it like
Back
that.
a bit.
Back a bit?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it showing up all the lumps and bumps and wrinkles and kinks and things?
Yes, no makeup, you see.
No makeup, no.
Yes.
Tan.
Well, mine's as good as yours, and I haven't been anywhere.
Well, you've been sat out in the garden getting rust.
Yes,
But I have, at least, been away.
you have.
And
yes.
I'm back.
3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks. In Lanzarote, where the weather has been blazing hot, and it's been killing e-cigs. It's been changing how I use e-cigs. It's taught me all manner of stuff, and I'm going to pass all of that on tonight, you know.
Good.
Because I can, and I think I should. So shall we play the titles and then stumble on with what passes muster for the only thing I could pull together in the 2 days since I got back?
That would be a good idea.
So that we shall do. Welcome to the Haze Hour. Yes, indeed, 'tis the Haze Hour as it ever was. And to those of you that might have discovered that I was on Radio Newcastle this morning, I apologise.
What time was that?
9 o'clock
All right.
in the morning, totally unscripted. I hadn't got a clue what I was doing.
Right.
There's not a lot changed.
Tell us more then.
Oh, it was talking about chivalry.
Really?
Yeah. You know, opening doors for ladies. And
So why would they telephone you about that? About chivalry?
because I'm a chivalrous man.
Right.
For instance, when we were preparing to go away, I bought 2 of those. The eye taste. And that camera's gone. Yes, this is called a technical glitch, people. I do apologise. Good Lord above. Let's just...
we seem to have a freeze. Yeah, it's okay now.
It's alright, is it? Okay.
You're back now.
Thank you. Back in the room. Here they are. Yes, I bought 2. One for my good lady and one for me to take away
Right.
of the eye taste. That's chivalrous.
Do you think so?
And when I built the mods, I built 2.
One for her.
One for my good lady and one
Yes.
for me. That's chivalrous. And
Right.
when hers broke first, I took that to be chivalrous.
And you gave her yours.
Don't be silly. I'm not that chivalrous.
Right.
But yeah, it was all about chivalry. And how, you know, it's all gone to hell in a handcart with the young'uns these days,
Yes.
apparently. Who knew? Anyway, that's what the radio show was about, but this is about e-cigs.
It is. Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
And I've been away.
Yeah.
So, I had intended before I went away to tell everybody what I was taking,
Yes.
but I didn't.
Right.
So I'm gonna. But we'll start from the beginning,
Well,
shall
you
we?
didn't tell me either.
No, I didn't.
Right.
Well, you weren't here. Because we went on the Thursday,
Of course, yes.
and you don't do the Wednesday show.
That's right. Yes.
I just have to remind myself, so I know. Anyway, yes. In terms of juice, I only took a small amount,
I see that. Yes.
just 3/4 of a litre, half a litre of mine, quarter of a litre of my darling wife's, because that was what was left in her bottle. And actually, well, I'll come to that later because that's more towards the end of what I want to talk about.
Right.
But I took that, I took the Penelope, I took my lava tube,
Yes.
I took 10 18650 batteries,
Right.
5 each of the Panasonics and the AWI-MRs, all 18650s, big uns. Because my experience was, when I'd gone out with little batteries, they were going, "It's too hot, I cannot cope, I shall die."
Well, remember that was my experience in Spain in May.
Yes, absolutely. And I drew on that experience
Right.
from an older and wiser man. Well, older.
Wiser.
So yes, it was all 18650s because I knew absolutely fine that
What was going to happen?
Yeah, the smaller batteries were going to die on their backside. So I took 18650s all the way through. 3/4 of a litre.
So is this sort of covering Jill's requirements as well, or did she have separate ones?
Well, Jill likes the i3, the inductively charged one.
Yes.
So I took 2 R3s for Jill
Yes.
with 4 iMist atomizers. She loves the iMist.
Right.
And it was, and obviously the charging base, but as backup I took a couple of USB plugs and Ego charge leads as well, in case
So you were well prepared.
that and the 10 Ego batteries I took, yes.
So how did it go?
And the bolt, not the bolt, the cube. I took the cube as
Right.
well. All mechanical, you see, nothing to go wrong.
Yes.
And I also took the Provari with me. And here is the parcel of stuff that doesn't work,
Really?
packed up to come home. Shall we see what no longer works?
Bloody hell.
Are you ready for this, children? So first out of the parcel of what no longer works is the 2 mods I built.
Right.
And the reason they don't work is because I am a klutz and I cannot solder to save my life. So when I was soldering the centre contact onto the 510 connectors, I must have melted the rubber that insulates that from the outside.
Right.
And of course, when you get out there, it's hot.
Yes.
And it was hot. It was 37 degrees when we landed.
Right.
That's in centigrade. That's an awful lot Fahrenheit.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
it's 37 is 37 degrees is 98.
90 something, yes.
90 something.
Yeah.
So it was 90 something when we landed. And of course the brass goes, "Oh, I think I'll expand," because it's hot. And so your atomizer, whatever you've got on, rattles about a bit. So naturally, what do? You tighten it up a touch, shorten it out, press the button. "Oh, that's hot. Ouch.
Right.
Gone."
So those are homemade devices.
Those are homemade devices that are
Right.
going to get home remade.
Right.
Only what I might do is watch 3 or 4 more Gary Dibley shows, or Barry Tribley, who was the new modder in town.
Right.
Apparently he did a show for Gary while I was away. Brilliant modder, I've been told.
Right.
Makes Gary look like a beginner.
Right.
So I'm told. His mum won't let him play with sharp crayons though. I know nothing.
So, what about the pucker devices
Are you saying
that
they're
you
not
did-
pucker?
that you didn't make?
Well, let's take the Provari, shall we? I shall put the rest of that to one side because that's mostly atomizers that I busted. The Provari, call it what you will, has been, I mean, I've had, this is the first batch that was made, so I've had it since the very start. And over a period of time, I've worked out what happened. Over a period of time, the spring on the inside of the cap, no matter which one you have, the spring becomes compressed.
Right.
And what that means, because it only takes one kind of battery really, and you always use the same kind of battery. So over a period of time, either you might unscrew the little base end a little bit, or that springs become weak and the battery gets a little bit of slogger, just enough to let it make or break a connection as you're walking along.
So are you saying that wasn't a heat problem? The fact?
No, it was a heat problem because again, it's metal and metal expands when it's warm.
Right.
So this had got, again, very hot, many degrees centigrade and Fahrenheit. It's been bloody hot over there. So obviously it's got slightly longer. So we got all dolled up to go out, as you do, for steak and bien masabi pudding. I nearly said something else. And a few drinky poos. And I'd decided, because I was wearing sleek trousers and, you know, dressed up.
Of course.
And as you are well aware, it's not really shirt pocket material.
It isn't, no.
No. So what my darling wife said was, I'll put it in my bag. So she'd taken the Pravari and she'd put it in her bag. Which again, everything's hot. It was warm to the touch. So she'd put it in her bag, and I'd made sure before we went that I'd switched it off. Pressed the button the right number of times, found the on-off bit, set it to off, it's off. Checked by pressing the button, it was off. But the Penelope was attached.
Yeah.
Right? So into our bag it went. And of course, as we're walking along, it gets joggled.
Yes.
Right?
It switches on.
And it just lost connection for enough time for it to reset, and the default reset appears to be on.
Right.
At which point in time, of course, the button was pressed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was in our bag, wasn't it? That was why I'd switched it off, wasn't it?
Yes.
So we sat down to have a meal, and she went to get her R3, inductively charged R3, out of our bag, and touched this.
And it was red hot.
It was red hot.
Bloody hell.
So we got it out and put it on the table, and it was, you could see the heat shimmer coming off it. I got the base off, which is why it's squeaking now, it didn't before. Got the base off, got the battery out, and the battery was quite warm, but it wasn't dangerously warm. So we got that all out, and we left it to fester for a while, and I thought, it'll be okay, it'll be alright. We found it, it was still running, except that it doesn't. And it's quite alarming for me, at any rate.
So what had that done to the battery?
Well, it hadn't done much to the battery. The battery's capable of knocking 8 amps out.
Right.
And the Pravari will switch itself off at 2.5.
Right.
There or thereabouts. You know, it's not going to take too much current. But what it was doing, basically, it was firing the atomizer on a permanent basis for what must have been 20 minutes as we walked to the restaurant. And now, whenever I go, I can measure a voltage on it. Let me put an atom maneuver later on, and we'll have a bit of play and see what occurs, shall we? Atomizer's on. And as you'll be able to see on there, look, we've got the P up, we've got everything you would want, it's all there. So let's get the atomizer. As you can see, it's reading, what is it, 3.2? But if I go and press it to vape, oh, now it's working. There you go. I've left it for 3 weeks without switching it on. It's no longer hot and it's working. It's come back to life.
So does that not lead to the question, what are the manufacturers doing, or what have they done to cater for the use of e-cigarettes in extreme climates?
Don't know.
Do they make it a different kind of model for selling to hot countries?
Very much doubt it. Be interesting to know, wouldn't it?
It would.
But I've had E1 errors for the whole of the holiday until probably 10 days ago, when I thought, sod it, I'll just stick it in that plastic bag and forget about it and put it back in my case.
Right. So what did you move on to then?
Well, from there, I decided I would take out the cube,
Right.
which was fine. The cube just worked. It worked absolutely fine without any bother at all. And then I needed to wind a new coil on my Penelope. But of course, you know what Jetacom's like.
Yes.
You've only got 22 kilograms of suitcase per person. And by the time you've put a litre of juice in and your clothes and, you know, your wife's 15 handbags
Yes.
and all of that kind of stuff, it does take up a lot of weight. So I didn't really have enough capacity to take a multimeter out with me. Never occurred to me. I suppose I could have bought one for a couple of euros over there. But I went to rewind a coil, and of course by then the Preveri I'd more or less given up on, and I wound it quite high. So I found it, the cube, although it was working perfectly and it's never missed a beat, for that particular coil it wasn't doing a particularly good job. So I'd taken my original Generation 1 lava tube,
Right.
right? And as you can see, the bottom end of it, it's lost its knob, right?
Yes.
The colour, as you can see, has changed from black to green.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's gone to like a dark bottle
Yes.
green. I'm told, I had thought it was a dark bottle blue, but apparently it's dark bottle
Oh,
green.
here we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And do you know something? I've had the Penelope on here pretty much every day since the third day we were there. And it's pretty much all I've used the whole time we've been there. Round
Right.
the pool, in the bar, doesn't matter where we've gone. That, the cheapest mod I've got. I'll show you.
Well, here we are. At the end of the first week, with a little bit more colour than I had, it has to be said, and 2 disasters. Shit. So aside from the incredibly falling over I've had, these things happen. I built 2 mods, you might remember them, with the big buttons to bring away. They've both died, both connectors shorted out. I think probably to do with my inability to solder correctly. I probably need to watch more Gary Diddley. Such is life. So, the lava tube, cheapest of all the mods I've got, together with the Penelope, have been the mainstay. And as a combination, it's working very well. Feeding it with the Panasonic 2250 hybrid batteries, working extremely nicely. As you can see. And yes, fun in the sun, well in the shade. I take on board the fact that I probably don't look as brown as a lot of people would after a week, but then that's me. I do believe the sun is meant to shine hotly so that it can create shade for you to sit in and drink. And swim in the pool at times. But this is it, Lanzarote. It's at the moment 11:15, we're about to go purpling out. The lava tube and Penelope will come with me, and the cube from Cyan Mods is also in the bag. So far, touch wood, so good. Right, this is Dave in Lanzarote, signing out. See you later. Bye now.
Did you notice that fine figure of a man?
Where? Well, oh, sorry. Right.
Yes, yeah.
So you use that for the remainder of your holiday?
The lava tube has served me absolutely perfectly. It has never missed a beat. It has caused me not one moment's heartache at all.
Right, so what experiences did Jill have with hers?
Well, aside from the fact that her mod that I made her also died.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has used that R3 on a daily basis. She cycled between the 2 batteries because the run time on the batteries was shortened because of the heat.
Yes.
But not massively so. And certainly she was more than able to get it onto the charger as and when it hit about 2 bars, and it served her perfectly. Again, they've never missed a beat. She changed, for the first time in a donkey's age, she said, I think this atomizer needs to be changed because the flavour's not quite as good.
Alright.
First time that she said that I can remember. So she's used one eye mist, or she's changed her eye mist to once, and the R3, the Ramaya R3, just hasn't flackered, hasn't missed a beat at all. Been absolutely perfect. Aside from the base on one of the batteries, the one that she uses the most, she's developed, while we've been away, this lying back on the sunbed, as you do,
Yes.
baking, as you do, basting, but she's kept the R3 in her hand, because obviously she's not been beside the charger.
Yes.
So she's just sat there with it and every so often had a drag, as you do, and the sweat, sorry, no, they don't perspire. What do they do? They glow.
Yes.
Ladies.
Yes, ladies glow. Yes.
Pigs sweat,
Yes.
men perspire, ladies glow. So the glow is taking the paint off the bottom
Alright.
a bit, and it looks a little bit scabby. I was going to bring it through and show everybody, but unfortunately I can't get it out of her hand. She won't let it go.
Right.
She loves it to bits. So yes, but it's still working spot on. No bother at all, both of them. Absolutely cracking. She's got on with those really well.
So really, all of this informs you what to take when you next go away.
I think I'm gonna make sure I've got at least one lava tube with me all the time.
Yes.
I mean, I honestly thought of the two, I thought the lava tube would go first and the Pravari second if it went at all. And I was quite shocked that the Pravari decided to give up the ghost. I think it's possibly my fault. But we did try a test last night with some other members of the team, and I told them how to recreate the problem, and they all had exactly the same result, that it switched itself back on.
Right.
So if it's been switched off and the battery comes out, when the battery goes in, be warned, the default is for it to be back on.
Right.
So if there's any jiggle or joggle, and it doesn't have to lose connection for very long for that to happen.
Tell me, it was obviously red hot.
Oh, it was stinking hot. Absolutely stinking hot. But I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick pause, a little break there, shall we?
Yes.
And when we come back, we'll talk a bit further about border patrol,
Right.
customs,
Oh yes.
both UK and Canarian,
Yes.
because I got frisked.
I bet you did.
Oh yes. And we'll talk about trolley dollies on aeroplanes as well. And this is funny. We'll be back right after this.
The Haze Hour is brought to you by Janty, pioneers in electronic smoking. iVapor and iVapor Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's ivapor.co.uk and ivapor-elixir.co.uk. iVapor and ivapor-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv.
And now back to the Haze Hour, sponsored by Janty.
And we're back.
Yes.
Post burp.
Now I'm going to be very interested to hear of your customs experience, because you were quite confident, if you remember before you went, that you could get away with it.
I did.
You did.
Going out. Going out was quite easy. You know, I'd taken that one that looks like a pen.
Yes.
Which again, Madam doesn't want to part with it.
Yes.
So what I did was exactly what I said to you I would do. I opened it and put it on top. Because when we got to the Border Patrol people for going out, they said, right, iPads, laptops, iPhones, everything in its own little belt, shoes. And Jill and I had a string of about 9 of those little boxes between us. And the backpacks and her handbag and everything else. Which was fine, no major problem. We kind of were expecting that. But I decided that the best thing to do was to take this e-cig, the pen e-cig, out and put it on top with the case open so they could see what it was. And the lassie at the airport was really nice. Just a young slip of a girl. I mean, she couldn't have been more than 23, 24. Right. And she says, how many iPads have you got? I says, 1 each. And an iPhone each. She says, you've got a laptop as well? I says, oh, I'm hoping to do a little bit of chatting to people while I'm over there. Anyway, yes. She says, hey, what's this? I said, that is an electronic cigarette. It is not anything else than that. And I undid the cap and I said, so there you are, you can see it. That's before it goes through the...
Not an explosive device.
Or you don't say words like that. No. Otherwise, it's the rubber gloves go on and...
Right.
Oh. No. So I said that, and right, fine. So off it went. Shoes came through, belts came through, wallets, iPads, iPhones, MacBook, and then my backpack, in which was every one of my batteries, because we'd been told no batteries at all in the hold luggage.
Right.
No lithium-ion batteries at all in the hold luggage, on the basis that they don't allow it. So of course, all of the batteries, so there's 10 18-650s in my backpack, the 2 iTastes, the pen one, and 10 Ego batteries are all in my backpack, together with 2 50ml bottles of juice. Right?
Have a feel, yeah.
Absolutely, because I'd put the batteries, the 18-650s, in a nice line in a plastic bag and lined them up like a little bandolier of bullets, as you do.
I'm surprised you caught your flight.
So am I. The bag goes down to the little X-ray machine, right? And you can see the conveyor belt going back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, and he's the lad, the fella's sitting there and he's so she went across. She says, the man says the electronic cigarettes. Oh, he says, I wish you'd tell us.
Oh, right.
Local lad.
Right.
Forward, out it came. No problem. Didn't want to have a look at anything at all.
You didn't open the...
Nah, wasn't interested. Once she said what I told her, that they were electronic cigarettes, I wish you'd tell us.
It's a bit discomforting, that, in a way, isn't it? Could have been anything you had in there.
I think they would know. I think really he was more concerned about all the charges that were in there as well, and the iPad leads and stuff. I mean, honestly, it was like Tandy's. It was like Radio Shack in that backpack. There was all kinds in.
Right.
All kinds. And also 2 of the 50 Shades of Grey series of books.
Well, see, I didn't realise you couldn't put them in your hold luggage.
Well, apparently it's not allowed now. Fear they go off.
Right.
So that was fine. Wasn't a problem. And in the departure lounge, brilliant. Went and sat down and had the smoked salmon sandwiches, as you do, because there's this little place where you can get them. We sat down there, and both Jill and I brought great plumes, clouds were going out.
In Newcastle Airport?
In Newcastle Airport. And the girl behind the counter says, so you have one of those electronic cigarettes. She was from Baker, obviously. And I said, yeah, oh good, yeah, I heard they're very good. I said, yeah, they are brilliant. And there's one or two other folks. Electronics, yeah, no bother. Great. Absolutely great. Walking down the, you know, that the condemned mile down the plane. Yeah. Walking down there, and as you do, you go to the loo before you get on the aeroplane, because you know there's going to be a queue the minute the seatbelt sign goes off.
Yes.
So down there, and that's when the big stuff back in the backpack, and the pen comes out into the top pocket, as you do. A few drags as we're walking up, with it being automatic, no problem. Sat in the departure area waiting to get on the plane, and I'm just watching to see who the Trolly Dollies were, see if I knew any of them. Anyway, we got on, and where we were sat is like the exit seats, and there's a Trolly Dolly just there as they're taking off. And she was a bright young thing, she'd have been 25, 26, Irish. Right. Nice girl. And every time she came past, I'd been having, you know, little sneaky drags and checking my chest for bites, as you do, you know. And what?
Nothing, go on.
Well,
sorry, yes.
It's what you're checking under your seat every so often to make sure the life jacket's still there, you know.
Yes.
As you do. And every time she came past, it was... little sniff. She wandered past. I thought, okay. And this is like 4-hour flight. And we're coming for landing. Pilot, this is pilot. Cabin staff, 10 minutes to landing. Right, fine. And then the next thing you know, she's sitting down. Now, what you need to know is, I love flying. I'm not keen on takeoff. And landing scares the big Jesus out of us.
Alright.
I know I look a big roughy toughy. You see...
I always think that's the exciting bit.
Yeah. Well, my heart will only take so much excitement. And I was sat beside the most beautiful woman in the world.
Right.
My wife.
Oh, right, I thought you...
Oh, you're in trouble when she watches the podcast.
Right, yes.
No, I bear in mind that private pilot's licence and all that kind of stuff, so I know takeoff, you can abort a takeoff at a certain speed. Landing is a controlled crash.
Yes.
Right? And if you kind of, you know, it's a little bit difficult to go, whoa, hang on, just a second, I haven't quite got this right, just give us a minute, like, it's boink, you're in, you know?
Yeah.
So, fine, that's the point in time when David needs the nicotine. And she'd been that busy round the 2 toilets, loading in all the rubbish into the toilets that they're going to hire out when they get to the airport. I thought, oh, bugger it. What they're going to do, stop the plane and throw us off? We're landing in... right. Dragging on it like
she caught you.
Which she couldn't help it. She was sitting about 3 feet away from us. She says, is that one of those electronic cigarettes? I said, yeah. Oh, my dad's got one of them. I thought I recognised the smell.
And that was it?
That was it. End of story. I could have been sitting dragging on it like a good all the way through. Well, she was absolutely fine with it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were sort of clapped in irons and taken away at the nearest...
No.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't, thinking about it, I probably wouldn't be too open. Because it could get her into trouble if she said no. But it was fine. Wasn't an issue. Same when we got into baggage reclaim in the airport at Lanzarote, I'm there dragging away, and you can see all these other folks going, I wished I'd known you'd had one of them, hell. Why, I'm banging for a fag. I have a drag on this. And then get a drag on it and go, oh God, that's strong, there's another one.
Oh, there's only you would get away with it.
I know anybody would, man. Anybody would. There's no issue. None whatever.
Wow.
On the way back, though, different kettle of fish. Belt off, watch off, coins out, wallet in the box.
This is in the Spanish airport?
Coming back. Everything's exactly the same as before. Goes through the doodah. Me. What the hell? Senor, I get ushered away.
Frisked.
With me boxes. Arms out, patted down, and I wouldn't have cared. It was a fellow with a tash. In fact, he looked like he could have sang in the Village People.
Right.
Not my type.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Frisked. He said, what is? Sorry? What is? Oh, batteries. Pilas. Sí, pilas. ¿Por qué? Cigaretta electrónica. Ah! I see. Yes, get it out. And I'm showing them all. Showed them it working. And then you just said in beautiful English, that's a big one. Okay, he's good.
And that was it?
That's it, yeah.
Oh well, we can...
Buen viaje, and off you go.
We can all learn from that experience then, can't we?
Yeah. Like I said, 5 weeks ago when we were sitting on the shore, if you're straight open with it and honest about it and don't try and hide anything, you're fine. I think if I'd just put the pen in my top pocket and I'd only had the pen and put everything else in the cases,
Yes.
I think there might have been something said at
Right.
the English end.
Right.
Excuse me, sir, can I have a word? What is this? And there might have been a few more questions asked. That was just kind of the feeling I got.
Right.
But once they knew it was an e-cig, it was fine. There wasn't an issue. It wasn't a problem at all, which is very good.
I'll remember that in October then when I go back.
Well, yes. Yes. Worthwhile, I think. Worthwhile. So yeah, that was pretty much the story of the kind of issues that you would have come across.
And were the big bottles of juice in the case?
Ah, well, yes, now that's where I need to put closey up you come on, that closey up you come and put that underneath. And it's probably not in focus, but as you can see, probably, there's loads and loads of little droplets of juice inside there.
Yeah.
Now these bottles,
Probably.
I sealed them really tight. I mean, if you try and take that off,
See that,
you
yeah.
cannot. It's sealed about as tight as you'll get. But obviously, when these things are up at 36,000 feet, the change in pressure between what's in the bottle and what's outside the bottle is such that it tries to get some out.
Yes.
So it's gonna leak. So I had them in 2 plastic bags, 2 Ziploc plastic bags, making absolutely certain that nothing would come out of the plastic bags,
Yeah.
and it didn't.
Yes.
So that kept
No, I mean, you
everything.
can actually see some juice lying in the bottom of the plastic bag.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can. And it was the same going out. And it's not a fault in the bottle.
No.
It's just if it's going to find its way out no matter what. Hence the plastic bags. And Jill did say, "Well, we don't want to waste the juice." I said, "Yeah, we do. Really, truly, we do, because we don't know what ink and stuff's on there." So, I think it was about somewhere between 5 and 10 mil came out on the way across,
Right.
and there must be less than 2 mil that's come out on the way back. So I'm really not. I'm not worried about that at all.
Mm.
But it's worthwhile bearing in mind, if you're going to put bottles of juice in your case, you want them well insulated
wrapped,
from each
yes.
other.
Yes.
You know. So all good. And the Penelope got a right hammering while I was out there, and it's never flackered. I've changed the wicks once a week because you can, you know.
Yes.
And it's just it's worked absolutely beautifully on the lava tube. But do you want to know the daft thing? You know how much juice I use over here?
Yes.
10 mils a day.
Yes.
Do you know how much juice I've used while we've been away?
Less, I would reckon.
A lot less. I've used 70 mils while we've been away.
Right. That's incredible.
That's ridiculous.
So what do you think the reason is for that?
Well,
The heat?
it's got a lot to do with it. I think the juice was so much thinner out there because of the heat.
Yes.
I mean, I took 50-50 glycerin and PG, and it was nearly as runny as the pure PG stuff.
Right.
And it's been wicking so quickly on here that I've not needed to have the mouthpiece wide open, and it's just been giving me such brilliant throat hit that I've not needed to use it as much. Might not been in the water a fair amount, but it's been good. I've actually been putting it down. Thing is, I've used 10mm since I got back, so it's creeping back up.
Well, I mean, viewers listening to this who are going abroad, there are things to learn from that.
Very, very much, very much. Firstly, take a backup of your backup.
Yes.
Big batteries, the biggest you can get, the biggest you can manage from what you would normally use. Juice wise, overestimate, definitely overestimate, because I know if I'd gone with 70mm I'd have needed 250.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's nobody more surprised than me at that.
Right.
Nobody more surprised than me. Don't even think about trying to be stealthy getting through to get to departure. Just be completely open about what you've got. Put all your batteries in your hand luggage, and tell them before it goes through it's electronic cigarettes. They know what they are at both ends. They know what they are. They've come across them thousands of times, and they'll not give you any hassle. Just tell them what they are and you're fine. You can get through. Don't be scared to use them in the departure lounge, because again, they know what they are.
At either end?
Both ends, fine. Absolutely fine.
Well, of course, in any event, the Spanish are much more relaxed about smoking, aren't they?
Well, they're that relaxed, the horizontal.
Yes.
You know, they're not worried by it at all. They're absolutely fine with it all. Absolutely nothing to worry about. But I've got one more little story I've got to share. The last day we were there, Jill and I were sitting on the balcony, as you do. Early morning, you know, cup of coffee, nice bit of cake. And I looked down, and beside the pool is this blonde, slim blonde, right? Bronzed she was. And she's sitting there, I'll borrow this if I may, and all I could see was she's laid back, and just his hand came up from beside her. And I looked down, thought, what she got there? So I nudged Jill. Last down by the pool, the blonde one. Came up again. I says, that looks like an ego. I'm going to go and have a word. She says, well, put some trousers on first.
Right.
So I did. I put a pair of shorts on. You know,
Yes.
as you do. Well, it's nice to be nice. So I went, I've gone red as well. I went dawdling down. I've just realised, wound up to being naked on the balcony. Anyway, I went down and I said to her, I said, do you mind if I talk to you? And she says, hey, no pet. What? I says,
North East accent.
aye. I says, that an e-cig you've got? She says, it's a tornado. I says, right, is it? Aye, fine. How long have you been using them? She says, it's a year. I'm finally getting down to 0 nicotine.
0 nicotine.
Yeah. She wanted to quit. So she'd got down to 0 nicotine in 6 months.
Right.
But she decided she still liked it. So she's kept on with it at 0 nic.
God.
And then, do you know where she's from?
No.
Doxford Park.
Never.
Tell the people where Doxford Park is from here.
About less than 2 miles
Yes.
from here.
She's just up the road.
Wasn't that incredible?
So they fly back tonight.
Right.
So I've asked her to drop us an email when she gets home, and I'm going to ask her into the studio.
Oh, that would be a good
Be
idea.
cracking, wouldn't it?
It would.
Be good, that. Be excellent, in fact. So yes, cracking holiday.
So she had a tornado.
She had a tornado. She took one look at the lava tube, and as per you, she said, what the bloody hell is that?
Exactly.
I said, it's a lava tube. She said, what's one of them?
So the tornado was clearly surviving in those temperatures.
She said that she'd had to charge it up twice a day, I think, or once. She had to have two charges a day.
Right.
I don't know whether she had two with her or what it was, but it was only just getting her through. And again, the heat was just dropping the performance back a bit.
Doxford Park.
Doxford Park, just up the road. You travel 2,500 miles to meet somebody from 2 miles away. Ridiculous.
Incredible, that.
Oh, it took me aback, I'll freely admit. And I'm sitting there saying I don't understand how people lie out in the sun and all this kind of, because it was blisteringly hot. I mean, it had the mouthpiece on the Penelope was hot before you even pressed the button to take a drag, you know. It was that hot. And then of course she takes the sarong off and she's the colour of the roads. That's all she does when she's there, is just lie in the sun apparently. It's a beautiful colour. I mean, it's bleached my hair, you can tell.
Right.
Oh, it was all good stuff.
Huh.
But, of course, being away meant I missed Vape Fest, so how was it? Did you go?
No.
No. Okay.
When was it?
Saturday gone. Day before we flew back. On the night.
Oh, I thought it was going to be later.
No, it was Saturday gone. But there'll be footage from Vape Fest on Dave Kitchen's show on Sunday, I think. If he gets it.
Because you didn't tell me that it was...
I did.
You didn't?
I did. So your memory's playing tricks on you.
Must be then.
You need more nicotine.
I don't remember that.
It is not shocking. Anyway, where's your lava tube?
Second out, Steve.
Okay. I tell you what, we'll take the second dance.
Right.
Did you hear that little voice? It was the dove from above.
The dove.
It was the dove from above, so we better do what we're told, otherwise we'll both get a spanking.
Yes.
It's that time. Be back right after this. If I remember where it is. How do you work this? But...
The Haze Hour is brought to you by Janty, pioneers in electronic smoking. And now back to the Haze Hour, sponsored by Janty.
Aye, so there. You ad from Safer Cigs. Clever lad that does.
And your holiday experiences.
And my holiday experiences.
Yes.
But, your lava tube aside, because the battery's run out, hasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't used it for a few days because I was getting a cough, the sort of throat hit from it.
Yes.
Then of course I realised that you put in it a stronger juice.
45 milligram juice, yes.
Right, which obviously accounts for it.
Glycerin.
Right.
Water it down a bit. It'll be fine. We'll see it next week.
I'll bring it next week. Yeah.
But there was good news last week.
Uh-huh.
And if I can just remember where the shot is, we'll see the good news from last week. And there it is. Electronic cigarettes have slight impact on heart. Study appear to be far less toxic than tobacco cigarettes, researchers says. So this came out on Monday, this news piece, and basically it's saying, in recent years, electronic cigarettes which stimulate the effect of smoking by producing an inhaled vapour have been marketed as a safer alternative to regular cigarettes. And it goes into all sorts of things.
Dave,
Sorry?
I'm complaining of echo.
Ah, echo. 2 seconds. I can fix that. I should fix that. I'm fixing it now, even as we speak. Don't you love it when stuff happens like that? If I do. That, has the echo gone, everybody? Cooey.
Just checking.
Yeah, it should have gone.
Yes, fine. Thank you, Dave.
No problem, anytime. I told you I'd forget how to use this, Chris. Yeah, so what they did was they examined the heart function in 20 daily smokers aged 25 to 45 before and after smoking one tobacco cigarette.
Yes.
These are people that smoke. And in 22 daily electronic cigarette smokers of similar age before and after they used the device for 7 minutes. Smoking one tobacco cigarette resulted in a significant increase in blood pressure and heart rate, but electronic cigarettes had only a minimal effect on heart function. This indicates that even though electronic cigarettes do contain nicotine, it is absorbed at a lower rate compared to tobacco cigarettes, the researchers said. And this study was presented at the European Society of Cardiology Congress, which finished on Wednesday ago. Now, I trailed this before we went away, if you remember.
You
I
did,
said there was
yes.
going to be an exciting announcement. It says here, it's too early to say whether the electronic cigarette is a revolution in tobacco harm reduction, but the potential is there. It is the only available product that deals with both the chemical, nicotine delivery, and psychological, inhaling and exhaling, smoke, holding it, and so on and so forth, addiction to smoking. Laboratory analyses indicate that it is significantly less toxic, and our study has shown no significant defects in cardiac function after acute use. Study author Dr. Konstantinos Vassilinos said in a conference news release. More clinical studies need to be done before suggesting that this is a revolutionary product. However, considering the extreme hazards associated with cigarette smoking, currently available data suggests that electronic cigarettes are far less harmful, and substituting tobacco with electronic cigarettes may be beneficial to health, added Vassilinos, who's with the Onassis Cardiac Surgery Centre in Athens, Greece. Now then, the thing about that is, you remember we spoke about this Ellen Kahn woman
Yes.
in the States?
Yes.
That blows what she's been saying so far out of the water, it'll come back and drown her.
It does. I mean, that's that's significant. That isn't it?
It's an amazing piece of work. As studies go, that has got to be up there amongst the very best.
I mean, this guy's obviously an eminent medic.
He is. He's a cardiac specialist. I mean, this is being presented to the top bods in heart messing about worldwide. The top people in hearts worldwide. And this is what they're hearing. And then you've got this woman who gets loads and loads of money from tobacco prevention people who's spouting off about e-cigs, and apparently is incapable of owning up to a conflict of interests.
Really?
Aye. According to one of the blogs out there.
That would be interesting to see, follow the further research that they're going to do.
Oh, absolutely. But what I do want to try and do, and I'm going to try and do this, I'm going to see if I can get this Ellen woman to come on the show.
All right.
And see whether she's prepared. She seems to like to be in the limelight, so we'll find out whether she's prepared to back up her statements when she's presented with the facts.
Oh, that would be
It would be interesting, wouldn't it?
illuminating.
Illuminating is one word for it.
Yes.
Yes. Because I have to say that the posters she's been producing and stuff like that have annoyed me. Now, I do apologise to everybody that I don't have all the web pages already with all of this, the illustrations of what that woman, that's what I call her.
That woman.
That woman. Well, we'll just call her that woman. I don't have that all to hand. I've been rushed off my feet since I got back. There's all the washing to do and the ironing, and
I can see you doing that.
I've been sitting watching Jill doing it, you know.
I know. Tiring.
Well, I'm not scared of work.
Of course not.
I can lie down and go to sleep beside it.
Yes.
Now, I have heard from Chris earlier on that there might have been one or two stits and farts in the streams. And I would just like to remind everybody that we do have video on demand. We love you joining us live, we really do. And it wouldn't be the same without you, it has to be said, because Chris, Kat, is sitting in the background, and she did say, anything comes up in chat I need to know, she'd tell me. Teamwork. We like teamwork, don't we?
3 minutes, Dave.
There you go, see?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. But don't forget, we also have the podcasts, and you can get to them on iTunes or anywhere where they bring good podcasts together. You'll be able to get those. And there's video on demand as well on our website at www.vaportrails.tv. And for those of you that live in countries where you spell English slightly differently, it's VAPOUR trails.tv. Just so you know, just so you don't get it wrong. And please, if it's been stitsy and fartsy for you, please do download the podcast, subscribe, and then you won't miss a show. And everything's going to be that way. We want to be sure you don't miss anything that's going on, because you'll catch all of the mistakes. We don't edit them out. We could, but we don't. Well, no, we don't. So it's all there. It's all there for you. Thank you so much for having me back into the UK. It's great to be back. Nearly great. But it's lovely to be back with everybody again. I'd better start the credits rolling, otherwise I will get my head in my hands to play with. But yes, it's been an absolute delight.
It has.
And thanks for having the patience to listen to the holiday stories.
Yes.
I could have shown
Very
photographs.
Probably.
Yeah, but not a good idea. And we'll be back next week, back in full effect. Don't forget to tune in for Dave Kitson on Sunday. I'll see you next Wednesday, and Keith will be back next Thursday. Until then, from both of us,
Good night.
bye-bye.
Bye.
The Haze Hour was sponsored by Janty, pioneers in electronic cigarettes.